Hey everyone, Mike Moo here. Today we're going to unbox this dash cam. It's called the Tiesfong. It's a dash camera that basically has a front facing, it's got the rear facing, and it's also got a radar option. So we're going to go ahead and check it out, take a look at it. It is called the Tiesfong A99WB. It is a 3-channel dash cam, which means it covers the front, it covers the rear, and it also covers one additional channel, which is going to be facing inside. And that's going to be really key for people who are professional drivers, because you want to keep an eye on what's going on inside as well as what's going on all around the vehicle. It's also very useful, obviously, if you are an individual driver as well, because capturing inside during a car break-in or anything weird that's happening, or any injuries that you might be sustaining throughout an accident, could be very useful. So I'd like to thank Tiesfong for sending this out for me to go ahead and check out, because it is time for me to get another dash cam. And this time I'm going to be replacing probably the one that I have, which is the Thinkware U1000 for a little bit. We're doing an in the air unboxing just so that you can see straight up just from your view. So I'm going to be looking at this tiny screen here as I'm opening this box. Now, one thing that really stood out for me and why I chose this model is that this one actually has a radar option. Now, this radar option means it sends out microwaves to detect certain motion, and this is particularly useful for saving battery power, so you don't have the dash cam running 24/7. When you're in parking surveillance mode, it'll sense motion, and then from that, it will then turn on the dash cam to go ahead and record anything that's going on around the car. So there's a nice little user manual, volume 3 of it. I'll get into that a little bit. We're going to take a look at this. Okay, so first impressions, this is quite a bit larger than the typical dash cam that I have on my car. And that's because it's got all the integration already built in. So this could be a positive or a negative, depending on whichever way you look at it. It's going to be a little bit more of a negative if you do not want to see your actual dash cam, right? So this has a fairly decent sized screen. It is a landscape wide angle view screen here, and it's got buttons. I like having a lot of buttons on the dash cam because it makes it a lot easier to configure. If you want it super clean, you don't like to mess with your dash cam, this might not be the one for you, but I do like tactile buttons. I just wish more dash cams companies would keep the buttons on here. All right, so the reason why this is so big, it's got a big mount, right? And it has a lot going on here. We got the front-facing camera, and you got the protective thing on here. So we got the front-facing camera right over here, really wide angle. I can tell just by looking at the lens, but I'll have the specs and details up there on the screen. And then we have a really ultra wide one that's facing inside, just like I said, right over here. And this one has a built-in radar. Now, look at this. This will rotate all the way around. So you can do inside and outside. So if you still want it, for whatever reason, you want an extra wide angle view of whatever it is, this is the most rotation that I've seen of any dash cam. And it's also got a whole separate on-off thing here. So look, you can tactilely control the settings from here. I do appreciate that, because those of you guys that have dash cams that have used the ones where it was app only, it gets a little bit annoying, and so you just leave the settings as is. If you're that type of person that doesn't need to adjust anything for the different situations and you don't mind using the app all the time, hey, this might not be the one for you, but this one does allow me to adjust it on and off and configure things just right over here. Now down here we have a couple of connectors, and one of them is, we'll take a closer look at that. One of them is to connect to the rear camera, which is included. And then in this package, it has the power, which is USB-C. That's what you want to look for these days. And you have a little reset button there. So in case anything goes wrong, you can reset it. That's also very appreciated. And then right here in this particular model, it has a SD card already given in for you. I have the max capacity that's available on the screen a little bit later. So they appear to give me already a 128 gigabyte, and that's usually enough for most people. But if you need even more storage space, I'm sure that you can put on 256. So I'll verify that with you a little bit later. Okay. So the mount's very simple. It's one of the 3M type of mounts, but I see that you have other options as well, probably for mounting it in a different way. So if you want to screw it in somewhere, you can remove this piece like that, and then you can just make your own holes. This is also one of the more standard type of mounts available that you can see, although the spacing looks a little bit different. But it is removable. So if you are super scared of keeping your dash cam on there, you can just slide it off, and see this part stays on the windshield and this part can go with you. But I don't know why you do that. The whole point of the dash cam is actually just to capture and protect your car in a way that only cameras can do, to provide you with video evidence in case of anything that you might need in order to pursue anybody who either wrongfully hit your car, or someone tried to break in your car, steal your car, or anything like that. You'll hopefully have that footage still on the dash cam. All right, next up, we have an accessory bag of stuff. Say, in this accessory bag we have, looks like we have 2 additional 3M type sticker mounts. This is actually the hardwire kit. So you can hardwire it very easily to an ODB2 type 2 port, and that is very common in most cars. If you drive a Tesla, this may not work for you. Most cars have an ODB2 type connector interface. And then this is, of course, just to attach it over to the side so it's out of the way. And this is the module that will put out about 12.5 watts. That's how much the camera will consume. And then down here you have 3 different options in terms of the power saving, so that you don't drain your battery in the parking mode too much. So you can do 11.8 volts, 12 volts, or 12.2 voltage, and that's where the cutoff. So this will ensure that no matter what, even though you have parking mode, surveillance mode activated on your dash cam, this has a cutoff voltage to make sure that you have enough to start your car. So you don't come back to a car that is too low below voltage to start. So you can set it conservatively at 12.2 volts. So it might only protect your vehicle for a short period of time after you park, but if you want all day parking, you're probably going to need it down to do 11.8 volts. In a case like that, and if your car is a high drainage type of device with a lot of tech on it, I suggest also bringing a extra jump starter power bank. They're cheap enough. It's good to have just in case. Of course, a lot of this will really depend on you, but it's great that the options are right there and it is adjustable. And I see on the bottom there's actually an indicator light too. So I could tell that they've given a lot of thought to this. So this does not require you to hire an electrician to route any of this stuff up. You just have the OBD2 type 2 port. You can route it up very easily, and it looks like there's a fuse or something here. Yep, there's probably a fuse here or disconnect here, fuse in this module, and this will just go right up. This up along the close by to that dash cam and the windshield with a light indicator and a voltage thing, and then this is USB-C power going in here. So I like that. So that's one of the things here. Now in this kit, there's actually a real hardwire kit. So if you want to hardwire it to the fuse of your car, you have these other options as well. So this is this kit here. Wow, this is a very comprehensive kit, I must say. So this kit here has everything that you need to hardwire this. Now, if you don't know anything about hardwiring dash cams, don't worry about this as much. But this will allow you to tap into your fuse box, and they give you every single option on here. Just FYI, for you to buy these things separately, usually costs 10, 15 bucks, maybe for just a couple of these, but this will capture it all. Like any type of fuse in a fuse box that you need, it's in here. And that's very impressive that they provided it with this kit. So kudos to you, Tiesfong, for having this amount of kit to make sure that you can connect to any fuse in any car. So you can easily use that. All right, final box. No, it's not final box. Final bag that is in the box here. There's actually even more accessories. So we'll take a closer look at some of these right here. And it looks like we have a USB-A to USB-C. Okay, so probably if you need to configure anything. We have these little windshield type of stickers, so you can ensure that what you mount on the windshield is not permanent. All right, so you can easily remove these. So basically what you do is you take one of these, stick it on the area that you think you're going to have the dash cam. All right, stick it there, and then, you know, let it stick for a bit and cure. And then you take the dash cam mount here, then stick it on there. So looks like they give me 3 of these in this little bag, which is great. You can buy them separately if you want from a third party. You have additional 3M stickers here just to mount the front unit. In case you run out, it's very nice of them to add that as well. I wish more people would give you that. And look at this. We actually have a polarizing filter that you can attach on front of the front-facing camera. Now, this will make a big difference for certain conditions, but in general, this is a welcome addition. Usually for other dash cams, you have to pay like $30 for this. This is ridiculous, but I think that every single dash cam unit should include one of these in the pricing of this, because this does improve the quality of the captured video or image in most scenarios during bright daylight. Okay, looks like this is adjustable. You can turn it. That's the whole idea. And then there's a little screw hole thing there to fix the position that works best for you. So this will reduce glare from the windshield to the camera, which ultimately results in overall better image quality in almost all cases, particularly when in bright conditions. Okay, so that is very much appreciated as well. Okay, so what else is in the kit here? Looks like we have some cable ties, Velcro type style. We have a trim type of kit here. Let's see. This is for you to stick in those cables in up there by the headliner. This is where you tuck in the cables. Little tool there, and then we got a bunch of, it looks like there's 4 of these cable organizers. Okay, so you can stick these to different places and help keep the cables out of the way. It's also very nice to have. We got additional mounting 3M tape for that other section that is the power section that I showed earlier, and then you got a micro SD USB 2 reader, so you can take that SD card out of the camera and then stick it into your computer for easy download if you so choose to. All right, so that's what's in this little accessories bag. Very nice set of accessories, I must say. Definitely a nice value. Some other places will charge you extra. I'd guesstimate the extra retail value of this would be at least $30-some separately, at least. Same thing with this whole kit. So this kit is very nice. I could use this with other equipment, all right? It's very nice to have these things in here. And then finally, we're going to take a look at the last section of the box, which has these 2 other bags of things. And this is the car charging cable. So if you just want to straight up, just from your cigarette lighter, power the unit, you got this. So cigarette lighter option here, USB-C output there, and it is exactly enough. It'll be for 12 volts to 24 volts. It is exactly enough to power the unit directly from your cigarette lighter. Of course, when you do that, you lose out on the parking option in most cases, unless you have a separate battery pack, which is not included in this particular kit. And then finally, we have the rear view camera here. And it looks pretty standard. It's got the cable. It looks like there's a fuse or a quick connector here, which I'll take a closer look at the user guide and manual just to show. And it's got one of these type of connectors, in case you're wondering. This is one of those smaller, I think it's 2.5 millimeter with 4 different conductive points on there. So this is not going to be compatible with the set that I have in the car right now. So I'm going to have to run this cable separately for my car to do the full installation. All right, now I'm going to take a quick look at the user manual here. It is in English here because I'm in the US, and it looks like it's very well illustrated, even with color. Okay, so it gives you an option for the different options that you can have, but we'll go into that after I have this all installed in the car. It's got screen recording that shows you all 3 channels at one time, so if you did want to see, and tracking date, time, the Wi-Fi function. Okay, so if you want to transmit it to your mobile device, it's got that Wi-Fi option, and I'm sure an integrated app as well. Memory card option, installing the bracket. Pretty, oh look, even have detailed information about installing this into the fuse section of your car. So if you want to do the fuse slot section to run the power all the way through, it's noted in here too. All right, So the default interface when you have it set up is that it's a 2K dash cam for the front, full HD for the inside, and then a full HD for the rear. So 2K front, full HD facing inside, and a full HD facing rear. That's typically the way that works out. And then here's the app QR code. So if you want to download the app to play with those functions and adjust different things, also control it via the app, you can. Generally what I do is I do that in case I need access to advanced functionality in the app or to download some quick footage. Okay, but usually a lot of times I set it and forget it because I like to keep it that way, but I really like having the buttons available on the dash cam in case I'm not nearby. In case, you know, someone else is driving the car, like my wife's driving the car and I need her to set up some different settings on there, it's a lot easier to walk her through with buttons rather than get her to even download an app to try to get that working. All right, and like I stated, the radar section of this dash cam is built in. This is why this takes up so much space. You have the whole separate radar. So I guess for me, I guess this is better. So a third-party option that I've had with another camera company, they will sell a module like this separately for the $60. I'm just talking about radar, not including the camera. So this whole radar option separately, and you got extra wires are plugging in. Having it all integrated like this makes sense. Okay, so that it's all in one piece. But again, look how wide this is. This is about almost as wide as someone's face. So you need to set aside this amount of space on your windshield at the very top, mind you. And that's usually where most people will want it, so you get the best coverage. All right, so the next option or the next section of this video, I'm gonna have this all installed to do some test footage coming in from the car, and you'll probably want to stay tuned for that.
The first step in here is to stick on this tape. This will allow you to make sure that you can easily remove it from windshield. Circular polarizer installation is very simple. Just rotate it on. Once you're on, you can then go ahead and rotate it a little bit. I'll show you an example of that. So I'm going to remove the sticky tape from the 3M that was already pre-attached, and I just basically stuck it right there on top of the sticker that attached to the windshield earlier. Just plug in USB-C port cable in there for the power, and then I'm going to plug in the rear camera. It's just a simple, like a small little special 4-pole 3.5, and I stick it right here next to my Blackview Full HD here. But of course I'm going to clean up the little bit of the glass there so that it'll stick a little bit better. Now that I have everything up here, you can see it's attached. You can see the viewing. There's all three. There's the front facing the interior, and then the out facing rear and the back. Now I do believe some of the Tiesfong dash cams actually have 4 channels, and so you'll see later on that there are actually separated recorded files in there. All right, here I'm just rotating the front polarizer until I get something that looks a little bit more appropriate. This here is an example of the normal recording facing the front of the car, straight from the windshield. This is from the interior. I do apologize for a little bit of mess. As a reviewer, I often try different products and I leave the cables on here. This is what it rear facing looks like. And then this is really the pitch dark at night. This is well after the sun has set over here in Sunnyvale, and it's going to be really hard to see people walking around. So you can see that the ISO camera sensitivity has been boosted up really high, and this actually was triggered by that car and the people walking by. That's how sensitive the radar sensor can be. And this is the example of me walking up in the dark up to the car and getting inside.
Yeah,
so
okay.
you can kind of see what that looks like. That flash was just the my security system flash. And this is the rear facing camera from the back of the car as of me walking by, so you can still see some figures walking by.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, this radar sensor that senses in parking mode is extra strong. This is at midnight, just roughly past midnight. You can see the details down below. As you can see, it is just really dark. And then here's an example event recording. I think when it does an event recording, it still continues with the normal recording, but then it shares like a smaller, like a lower bit rate recording, and it's stored on a separate area of the memory card. So this will look even more grainier. All right, so hopefully that was a good overview of the Tiesfong camera here, the A99, and hopefully this gives you some good information about whether or not this particular dash cam system is going to work out for you. I'm going to have this in my car for a while, all right, on top of the other dash cams there until my next testing of a new dash cam. So let me know if you have any other questions. I'd be happy to share a little bit more footage with you if you like. Yeah, that's it for this video. Please do us like, subscribe for more. We'll catch you next one. Thanks for watching.